Hello there, my dear friends. Assalamu alaikum. I was just sitting and wondering, why do the rulers always hijack the things that the people hold sacred? I mean, it's a fact. If you read history, I've read a bit of history, and what I clearly found that the message of Jesus Christ, the noble gospel that taught about an egalitarian society, about empowering the poor and humbling the rich, that beautiful message was hijacked. I mean, if you look at, we might disagree on Paul. Some of you might think that Paul is not part of the establishment that came to infiltrate the Christian religion, but if you look at the Council of Nicaea, where a pagan, Constantine, who was not a Christian, he presided at that conference where they put together the basic doctrine of the Christian religion based on the triunity. But that's the Christian sacred beliefs that I believe was hijacked by Caesar and company. So when the rulers commandeer the things that we hold sacred, the first thing they do is they have to pervert it. They have to twist it. They have to make it ugly. They have to take the beauty and the simplicity out of it, the heart out of it, and turn it into something which is mechanical, something which is forced, and then they destroy it in the end. And many of you will agree with me on this channel that the same happened with the religion of Islam, where the Prophet's message, the Quran, was a simple and direct message, and the tens of thousands of hadiths brought by hundreds and thousands of people who were invested in the system came to twist and to deform the simple message of the Quran. And where the Umayyad kings and the Abbasid kings and the Seljuk kings, where they ended up benefiting from it. But now the question is, why do they do it? Why do rulers always hijack and pervert things that we hold as sacred? Short answer is that when you hold, I'm sure you hold something that is sacred. I'm sure you and me, we all have stuff that's sacred. It could be our children, our mothers, our families. But obviously religion takes it to a different level. It absorbs or it internalizes something sacred that is greater than us, that is beyond us. God Almighty, Allah, principles, universal principles. Like we hold the holy text, the Quran, is sacred. And so the question is, why would anyone want to hijack that which we hold sacred? And by holding it sacred, it means we are prepared to sacrifice for that thing which we hold sacred. So what the rulers then benefit is that if they can somehow insert themselves into that picture between you and your sacred, those things that you are devoted to, if they can somehow enmesh or mix or insert themselves with that sacred thing, then your devotion and your sacrifice will be due to them, in fact, also. Do you get what happens? Is so that, if the ruler then makes a pretense of being a good Muslim, then he can smuggle in his own self-interested ideas that benefit him, and then get you to be devoted to him as well as to God. It's the classical idea of shirk, tashriq. In the Quran, shirk is regarded as the primary or the cardinal evil above which there is no other greater sin, and that is to involve or to insert a non-divine or a non-sacred along with the sacred. And what happened is when Christianity inserted Caesar and inserted respect and, the rights of Caesar along with the rights of God. That was the point where Caesar actually won the people over to his side. And the same with Islam. When the Hadith, when the scholars all incorporated respect for the ruler, respect for the corrupt king into the body of Islamic doctrine and sacred core beliefs, when it became evil to criticize the caliph, when it became evil to criticize the scholars, then they had effectively combined the sacredness of God with the sacredness of the ruler. And when those two are combined, when the ruler inserts himself into that sacred establishment, then he can make demands for sacrifices from us. So today you have the American power, Western power, who have effectively incorporated wokeness, the anti-fascist agenda, which was a legitimate and fair and valid and sacred endeavor or effort earlier on in the 20th century. But when they incorporated into their own vulgar self-interests, then they turned it into the alphabet mafia. Then they took the idea of human rights and fairness, the respect for all people, into a nightmare. And until today, we are now faced with the complete vulgarization and the annihilation of the pure, pristine concepts of human rights and of respect between people. So, in summary, the oppressor or the ruler, is always interested in your sacred values, your sacred beliefs, your sacred objects, and he will always try and pervert them and hijack them. The question is, how do we extricate ourselves from that state of perversion? And that is what I'm here for. That is what you are here for. And, we are here to discuss, to reflect on how our sacred beliefs, our sacred objects, our sacred principles and values have been hijacked, and how we want to extricate ourselves from it. That's the big question, and that is what we intend to answer.